Millionaire CEO pretended to be negative and got rejected with the aid of 20 ladies on blind date. However, this one humble girl stated, yes, before we start, tell us within the feedback wherein you are looking from, and on thesis keep in mind to rate this story from 0 to 10 experience. The tale: Marcus Chen became on his 20th blind date and geared up to surrender on love. Absolutely no longer, because he wasn't appealing at 32. He became clearly considered one of the most eligible bachelors. The problem became his fortune, over $2.8 billion, and it seemed like any that did became attract ladies who had been extra interested by his credit card than his coronary heart. This must be the worst concept I've ever had, he muttered to himself, adjusting the reasonably priced blouse his assistant James had picked up on clearance. His extraordinary concept were to pretend to be terrible in order to locate genuine love. For 2 weeks, he disguised himself as Mike Sandos, an unemployed creation worker, and turned into Rejected in increasingly creative methods via 19 extraordinary ladies. Jennifer ran off instant she observed out he was jobless. Amanda faked an allergies attack, and Patricia properly. Patricia really surpassed him 5 out of pity. Now sitting in a restaurant, Marcus was ready to throw inside the towel. An ultimate attempt to then he'd move again to the world of shallow relationships. The 20th date become with a person named Sofia Mendes. She changed into 28 and labored as a gold prospector. Her profile photograph confirmed a girl with an actual smile, no filters. Honestly, taken outside by way of 4:15 p.m. noon had proven up. Marcus started out to stand while the cafe door suddenly burst open. A woman got here jogging in like she become escaping a hearth. Her brown hair became messy, her arms had been covered in dirt, a smear of mud marked her proper cheek, and her garments gave the look of they were through a battle, gave the impression of that they had been through a conflict. Sorry, she shouted to the whole cafe. Is there a Mick here? Marcus stood up, a touch taken aback. I'm Mike, thank goodness, she sighed, dropping a worn-out backpack onto a chair. Sofia Mendes, great to meet you. Sorry, I'm past due, and for them in her eye look we had a bit cave-in on the site. Cave-in? Marcus asked, worried. Nothing severe. She waved it off, sending a bit extra dust flying, just a gallery wall that determined to crumble right when he was leaving. Correct aspect. I am quick. I crawled right underneath it. Marcus looked her up and down. She gave the impression of she had lost a wrestling healthy with the floor, but she was smiling. Adore it turned into the maximum normal component in the international UUREC of direction comes with the task. She shrugged. Wow, that is a fancy place. Are you certain you can come up with the money for it? I will pay for mine, no trouble. For the first time in 2 weeks, Marcus became stuck off protecting an excellent way. No, I will manipulate 2 coffees. You certain? I recognize what it's like. Be broke. I as soon as lived off immediate noodles for 2 months. Instantly. Sophia walked as much as the counter, and Marcus watched her greet the barista by means of call, ask approximately her son, and leave a beneficent tip. Even though it became clear she changed into counting each penny. All set, shallower back with 2 coffees. So Mike informed me, what do you do except being between jobs right now? The question was ease, but something about the manner she asked it without judgment, just genuine interest, absolutely disarmed Marcus. I paintings in production, kind of rethinking life in the intervening time. I get it. Sophia nodded, selecting dust from underneath her fingernails. My dad constantly stated sometimes life forces you to forestall and find a new direction. Changed into your dad a prospector too? He turned into, she said softly. He died 5 years ago, paintings accident. However, he taught me something essential: never decide a person by using their bank account, judge them by their individual. Marcus felt something shift in his chest. I am sorry. Thanks, she smiled, but you understand what is funny? After he died, a group of human beings came around wanting to assist. They all attempted to buy our land for next to not anything. And did you promote? Sophia almost spit out her coffee, guffawing. No manner. I decided to learn the alternate myself. It changed into hard convincing the other prospectors that a 23-year vintage lady knew what she became doing. How did you pull it off? I proved I may want to do it, and also she made a funny face. I prepared dinner honestly, nicely gained them over with my meals. My lasagna is legendary. Round right hair. Marcus laughed, truly laughed for the first time in weeks. What else are you able to do except cooking and prospecting? Oh, a bunch of useless stuff, Sophia said, counting on her dust-streaked hands. I can imitate chook calls, make origami with napkins, call all the world capitals, and I've a 78-12 months old grandma who's better than the FBI at investigating boyfriends. What do you imply? Remaining week, she saw a person at the grocery. Savvy dia, he is probably an amazing healthy for me, and walked right as much as him. She requested, do you have got critical intentions with some O'Neill's granddaughter? Right there in front of absolutely everyone. Marcus burst out giggling. And what passed off the poor guy nearly had a heart assault. However, she got this smartphone quantity, Sophia stated, making a face. Now she's planning a casual dinner to introduce us. I am going to should pretend I stuck something contagious. They talked for 2 hours like antique friends. Sophia shared funny tales about life at the mine, her matchmaking grandmother, and her dream of modernizing the Smallone family enterprise. For the first time in weeks, Marcus felt absolutely comfortable. He failed to must galvanize all and sundry or make up stories. He could simply be himself. You're special from the opposite men, Sophia stated as they have been getting ready to depart. Exceptional how? Most of them just communicate about what they need. To own cars, houses, status, you ask, approximately matters that really depend. Marcus smiled. Perhaps that's due to the fact you clearly have interesting matters to say. Can I ask you something a touch direct? Sure. Might you want to exit again perhaps? This weekend I should cook dinner for you. He promised. It's higher than diner espresso. Marcus's heart raced. After 19 rejections, so mean ultimately desired a second date. I would like to. Excellent. Sophia stood up and slung her wiped out backpack over her shoulder. Do you have an automobile or do you need experience? My pickup's from 2010. However, it runs simplest satisfactory. Marcus hesitated for a second. His Porsche became parked blocks away. I have a vehicle. Thank you, best. Here's my cope with, she said, scribbling on a napkin. Saturday at 7 and Mike, yes, come hungry. My lasagna places humans in a food coma. She walked out waving and Marcus stood on the sidewalk, no longer grinning like an idiot. For the primary time in weeks, he felt in reality satisfied. What he didn't notice became the female throughout the street, dressed elegantly in sunshades, who had simply taken photos off the whole scene. Isabella Chen tucked her smartphone away with a cold smile. Harold, her brother, turned into in reality up to something extraordinary, and if Marcus desired to fox, he become negative, she become going to find out precisely why. Saturday came quicker than Marcus predicted, and he determined himself, standing at the front of the toilet, reflect, trying to decide whether he was fearful or excited. Probable both. Mr. Marcus, are you certain you do not need me to go with you? James asked for the 33 times, straightening up the negative guy clothes inside the closet. James, it's just a dinner, no longer an undercover agent venture. With all due respect, sir, after 2 weeks of pretending to be a production employee, I might say it is exactly a secret agent task. Marcus sighed and put on a flannel blouse that charges less than the top he usual left at eating places. This is distinct. Sophia is real. She's not interested in what I've. She doesn't even understand what I've. James gave him a skeptical look. And when do you plan to inform her? While the time is right, Marcus stated, choosing up the keys to the borrowed Honda Civic, which might be by no means Sophia's cope with, took Marcus to a part of Dallas he had by no means been to. Small houses, older automobiles, tidy but modest yards. It felt like moving into every other global. Sophia's house was a mild blue bungalow with a porch complete of plants. Earlier than Marcus should knock, she opened the door with a huge smile. Mike, right on time, she said, wearing a easy floral get dress that made her appearance even greater. Beautiful are available and I hope you like lasagna due to the fact I made enough to feed a small military. The internal of the residence felt relaxed in a manner. Marcus' mansion by no means had the fixtures changed into old, however well cared for circle of relatives. Pixelined the walls and a superb scent changed into coming from the kitchen. Wow, what a heat area, Marcus said genuinely. Thank you. It's small, however it's mine. I inherited it from my grandmother. Whilst she moved to assisted living, she couldn't cope with the stairs anymore, so Sophia gestured vaguely. Now she lives in a one-tail residence in the direction of the city. You take excellent care of her. She raised me after my parents died. It is the least I can do. Marcus felt silly, forever complaining about his circle of relatives' troubles. All through dinner they pointed out the entirety. Sophia shared her plans to enlarge the mining operation, bring in extra cutting-edge technology, and create jobs for the community. Need to recognize my crazy dream, she requested, serving him a second helping of lasagna. I need to open a technical school here in the vicinity, educate human beings how to work with modern equipment, awareness on protection, even fundamental control. It really is no longer a loopy dream, Marcus stated. It is a vital one. Do you? Absolutely, Supazizo. Most of the people say it's a waste of time, that folks around here are not cut out for that sort of component. Marcus felt angry at whoever had said that those human beings are wrong, absolutely wrong. Sophia smiled and Marcus found out he became falling in love honestly for the primary time in his existence. After dinner they went out to the park. The sky was clear and Sophia pointed to the celebrities sharing the stories her father used to tell, approximately the constellations. My dad used to say stars are like people, she stated. A few shine brighter, a few are quieter. However, They are all critical to make the sky entire. He feels like a wise guy. He was also stubborn as a mule and sang inside the bass so loud the acquaintances simply could pay attention. She laughed, but he become the excellent we ever knew. Marcus turned into about to mention something romantic whilst his phone rang. He glanced on the display screen. It changed into his motive force. Sorry, I want to take this. It is my boss, no problem. I will get extra tea. Marcus spoke back in a low voice. Carlos, what is it, sir? The meeting for tomorrow has been moved to tonight. The Japanese investors are simplest available now. What assembly? Marcus asked. Pressured the enlargement venture into Asia. $50 million. Sir Marcus looked via the window and noticed Sophia in the kitchen buzzing as she poured the tea. 50 million felt a lot much less vital at that moment. Cancel it or pass it to Monday. Sir, you heard me. I am busy. While Sophia came again with the tea, Marcus became placing his smartphone away. The entirety okay with your boss? All appropriate. He is on his own this night. They stayed on the porch speaking and guffawing till nearly midnight when Marcus eventually said he had to pass. Sophia walked him to the gate. Thanks for the most fun weekend I have had in a long term, she said. Thanks for Benji. They checked out every different for a moment and Marcus leaned in to kiss her cheek at the last 2D. Sophia becoming the kiss landed on the nook of her mouth. Oops. She laughed, blushing. Oops. Marcus echoed with a grin. He was on foot to his car while he heard Sophia call out, Mike, wait. Marcus beckoned to peer. Sophia jogging in the direction of him barefoot. I forgot to provide you my cellular range. She pulled a pen from her bag and wrote the variety on his palm. There, now you don't have any excuse not to name. Marcus smiled and were given into the Honda Civic, waving via the window as he drove away. 3 blocks later, he stopped at August Station to interchange motors. Carlos became waiting with the Porsche. How become the date, sir? Perfect, Marcus said as Hespedi changed garments. Surely ideal. He was placing away the flannel blouse whilst he saw a red pickup skip by means off. Marcus looked once more and recognized Sophia behind the wheel. Panic. Sophia had stopped at the mild and was searching directly at him, getting out of a shiny new Porsche sporting a suit that likely price greater than her yearly income. Marcus waved awkwardly. Sophia kept staring for some seconds, then the mild grew to become inexperienced and she or he drove off. His smartphone rang straight away. Hi Mike, it is Sophia. What a twist of fate, jogging into you simply now. Hello, accident. Listen, I do not imply to pry, however become that you getting out of a Porsche just now. Marcus panicked and blurted out the primary element that came to mind. Oh yeah, it belongs to my boss. I am his non-public driving force on occasion. You already know, just to make some more money, I see, Sophia said, even though her tone had changed slightly. And is your boss a pleasant man? He is a complex guy, very complete a fimsel, if you understand. Rich, arrogant, thinks he is higher than all of us. Wow, that must be hard to paintings for a person like that. It is now not amusing, Marcus admitted, hating each word, but the pay helps of Direction way will communicate to you soon. It became excellent listening to from you once more. You too. Marcus hung up and rested his brow on the steering wheel. Hassle, sir? Carlos asked. Carlos, I just called myself a stuck-up jerk to the woman I'm in love with. Exciting approach. Sir, it's no longer approach, it is desperation. Marcus drove domestic, wondering how he changed into going to explain that lie. However, one thing he knew for positive, he could not lose Sophia. She became the best factor that had came about to him in years. The subsequent Monday, Sophia referred to as with a proposal that made him each excited and terrified. Mike, how about seeing in which I work? Do not worry, I won't make you deliver any rocks, but I suppose it might be high quality with the intention to see miglable. Marcus agreed proper away without considering the consequences. 2 hours later, he turned into using the Honda Civic down a dust avenue that regarded to move on all the time, following Sophia's directions over the smartphone. Whilst you see a sign that announces personal belongings, no trespassingio have arrived, she had said, guffawing. The Mendy's circle of relatives' mining website became very specific from what Marcus had imagined. It wasn't a large operation, just like the ones his company normally funded. However, it turned into organized, clean, and simply run with care. Sophia greeted him wearing a yellow helmet and rubber boots, looking absolutely in her detail. Welcome to my office, she said, motioning to the excavation sites round them. It is no longer very glamorous, but it will pay the bills. Marcus appeared around, virtually involved. He had by no means seen a mining operation up close, and the innovative homemade answers definitely impressed him. How did you discover ways to do all this? My dad taught me whilst I used to be a bit lady, and after he surpassed the opposite miners round right here, helped me out. Humans here absolutely guide every different, Sophia said, pointing to a group of workers. This is CEO over there. He's our equipment expert. Carla's our self-taught geologist. And Tananoho. Nicely. Tananoho's area of expertise is making coffee. Sturdy sufficient to wake seated an older girl seemed on the door of a small house at the assets waving energetically. That is my grandma Maria. Sophia called out, come on, you have got to fulfill her however truthful warning she'll interrogate. You are a homicide suspect. Grandma Maria turned into 78 years old, 5 feet tall, and had the commanding presence of a general. Her sharp little eyes scanned Marcus from head to toe in 3 seconds. So that your mic, she said, as though she were identifying a brand new kind of insect. Exciting, nice to meet you, ma'am, Marcus said, preserving out his hand. She shook it, frowning. Your fingers are too soft for a construction employee. Marcus swallowed difficult. I've been out of labor for a while, or even unemployed. You operate hand lotion. Grandma Maria raised an eyebrow. Grandma Sophia jumped and go away, him alone now. Not each person likes sandpaper fingers. I am just making an observation, dear. Grandma Maria answered, however her eyes stayed constant on Marcus. He is no longer regular. No longer ordinary. How? Sophia requested, still figuring that out. Sophia took Marcus a full excursion of the web page, explaining each a part of the technique with contagious energy. Marcus attempted to assist by way of sporting some buckets. However, it changed into apparent he had never achieved any bodily hard work in his lifestyles. Mike, you're preserving that like it is about to blow up. Sophia laughed, looking him warfare with a bucket of water. Sorry, I am now not used to this. What form of production work did you say you did? Hugo asked, acting out of nowhere. Administrative extra-office work, then real exertions. Got it. Joe said, certainly now not shopping for it. In the span of 20 minutes, Marcus managed to drop 3 buckets, trip over a hose, and nearly fall right into a hollow. Sophia discovered it hilarious. You're formally the least coordinated person I've ever met, she stated, supporting him up after his 4th stumble. Sorry, I'm a bit out of shape. Out of form, Mike. It seems like you've got by no means even visible Dirk before. At lunchtime, Sophia added him to a wood desk beneath a tree where Grandma Maria had made sandwiches for everybody. Take a seat right here, Sophia stated, pulling out a chair. I want to expose you something. She took a box of old photos from her bag and treated them carefully. Those are photographs of my dad running here. He started from scratch, you recognize. My grandparents were clearly poor, and he swore he'd supply his circle of relatives a higher existence. Marcus checked out the photographs of a person who genuinely cherished what he did, smiling even if blanketed in dust. He seems like he changed into definitely satisfied, became even on the difficult days. He said he'd rather be in rate of his own destiny than paintings for a person who did not admire his dignity, Sophia stated, pointing to a picture of her dad coaching her the way to use a gadget. He always informed Miss Sophia, money you earn, however respect you earn that with who? Your Marcus felt a lump in his throat. He turned into proper. It is why I will by no means sell this location regardless of what number of offers come in or how an awful lot money they offer. This is his legacy. Marcus changed into approximately to respond whilst a government vehicle pulled up to the brink of the mining web page. A well-dressed woman in a fancy fit and darkish sunglasses stepped out, preserving a clipboard. Excuse me, she called. I'm from the local social offerings department. I want to do a habitual inspection. Sophia frowned. It really is ordinary. We have never had an inspection earlier than. The girl walked nearer and Marcus almost choked on his sandwich. It become Isabella, his sister. I am the social employee. Maria Dilva, Isabella stated, truly frightened, in need to check the operating situations and other things. Sophia stood up, suspicious. What sort of other things? Nicely checking if there are any irregularities or human beings, suspicious people working here. Isabella regarded dead without delay at Marcus, who started out to sweat. And you're Sophia? Requested Isabella. I am Maria. I advised you Maria de Santos. Maria de Silva Santos. Sophia repeated skeptical. It is a compound name, very compound. Marcus realized he had to do something earlier than Isabella messed the whole lot up. Definitely, he stated. Standing up, she's my cousin. Your cousin? Sophia and Isabella said at the identical time. Yeah, my cousin Maria, on my mom's aspect. Very complicated family complex. How? Sophia asked. Marcus panicked and commenced making matters up. Well, my aunt married a guy named Silva, then got divorced and married to Santos, but stored both ultimate names. And Maria here has always been a little abnormal, atypical. Isabella hissed in a very good manner. Marcus introduced fast. She always wanted to be a social employee. Due to the fact she turned into little, she used to pretend she was analyzing her dollhouse. Sophia looked from Marcus to Isabella, truly burdened. And why do you to look alike? Genetics, Marcus and Isabella said together. Robust genetics, Marcus delivered. Very comparable circle of relatives. Grandma Maria, who had been looking the entirety in silence, stood up and said dryly, "Unusual family this one." Isabella stuck around for some other 10 minutes, seeking to maintain up the act. However, she was surely out of her detail. She sooner or later made up an excuse about needing to inspect other locations and left. "Your cousin is interesting," Sophia stated as soon as Isabella became long past. "Yeah, she's constantly being sort of exclusive and in view that when do social workers do inspections?" Carrying dressmaker excessive heels, Marcus checked out Sophia, who became smiling in a manner that confirmed she knew something wasn't right. "Yeah, she's constantly been a little too into appearances," Mike, Sophia said, stepping towards him. "Do you want to tell me what's truly taking place?" Marcus regarded into her eyes and almost informed her the whole lot. "Almost not anything's going on, just a crazy family being nicely crazy." Sophia studied him for a few seconds, then nodded. "Okay, however, just know when you're ready to tell the reality, I will be here." Marcus smiled, feeling even worse for mendacity to her. But one aspect became clear: Isabella had found out where he turned into, and that could best suggest problems. Sophia stepped closer and kissed him softly, reducing off his confession. "Mike, anything it's far you want to inform me, it can wait. Right now, I simply need you to recognize you're now not on my own." Marcus appeared into her eyes and felt something break interior his chest. For the first time in his lifestyle, someone cherished him without understanding who he really becomes. "Sophia, might you want to be my female friend? I thought you'd by no means ask," she laughed, leaning into his arm. The following couple of days had been the happiest of Marcus' life. For the primary time, he experienced what actual courting felt like, one without monetary interest or social strain. Sophia took him to places he had never been before: neighborhood markets, roadside diners, community fairs. Marcus located the easy joy of maintaining hands with someone who definitely favored him. On their first weekend as a pair, Sophia took him fishing at a lake close to the mining website online. "Have you ever long past fishing?" she asked, putting in place the rods. No, not precisely," Marcus lied. He had long gone fishing, a few instances on the own family yacht. "However, that failed to count. Number it is relaxing. My dad used to bring me here when I used to be little." They spent the complete afternoon without catching a single fish. However, Marcus did not care. He was too busy watching Sophia tell memories, snigger at her very own jokes, and make sarcastic comments, approximating his whole loss of skill with a fishing rod. "Mike, you're holding that like it's a poisonous snake." She laughed. "Will, he nearly got tangled in his personal hook." "Sorry." "Nonetheless, getting to know it truly is okay." A laugh. "Looking you try." Of their second week of courting, Sophia taught him how to make lasagna from scratch. "The key's making the dough by means of hand," she stated, both of them covered in flour in her kitchen. "You need to feel the texture." Marcus, who had eaten in 5 celebrity restaurants all around the globe, had in no way had so much fun cooking in most cases because Sophia thought it changed into hilarious to look at him. "War with basic substances. You have never cracked an egg before?" she requested, shocked. "I constantly ate out or ordered transport." "My God, Mike, you are sort of vain, huh?" she said. However, she became giggling. "I'm completely useless. Lucky for you, I like useless men." Inside the third week, Marcus took Sophia to dinner at a barely more steeply priced eating place, no longer too fancy, but absolutely above her usual price range. "Mickey, are you sure you may find the money for this?" she whispered, looking at the menu. "I got a temp process," he lied, "installing security systems. It pays nicely." "That is extremely good." Sophia smiled. "But next time, let's go to jealous area. The food's better and costs a third of this for the duration of dinner." She pointed out her plans to expand the mining website, the exchange faculty she wanted to build, and the way she wanted to improve lifestyles for the whole community. "What impresses me most about you," Marcus asked, "what you don't dream small. Most of the people need more money for themselves. You want more money to assist all of us else." "That's because I know what it's want to help and no longer have it," Sophia said truly. "Whilst my dad died, if it were not for them to work, I would not have made it. Now it's my turn to provide again." Marcus fell even extra in love with her. Inside the fourth week, they went to a country tune festival in the subsequent town. Sophia wore a simple floral dress and cowboy boots, and Marcus' concept she'd by no means regarded more lovely. "Do you already know the way to dance a country?" she requested, whilst the band started gambling. "No concept," Marcus admitted. "Come on, I will educate you." They danced for hours, Marcus stepping on Sophia's toes extra times than he should depend, but she laughed at each misstep. "You are getting higher," she lied shamelessly, whilst he controlled 3 steps without stumbling. "You're a horrible liar." Marcus laughed. But you are attempting, and that is what matters." In the course of a slower tune, Sophia rested her head on Marcus' shoulder. "Mike, sure, I really like you." Marcus stopped dancing for a moment and checked out her. "I like you too," he stated for the primary time. He honestly intended it. They kissed within the center of the dance ground while the tune performed, and those danced all round them. Marcus had in no way been happier in his existence. In the meantime, throughout Metropolis, Isabella was in the workplace of a non-public investigator who had clearly seen better days. "So Mrs. Chen, what exactly do you need me to inspect?" requested Rodrigo Carvalho, a man in his 50s with a questionable mustache and a drawer complete of empty beer cans. "My brother's acting very odd, pretending to be negative relationship. A few minor female." Rodrigo wrote something down. "Traditional midlife disaster." "It's not a midlife disaster. He's the CEO of Chen Industries. He cannot pass around pretending to be someone else. We're given it. You want me to comply with him. I want you to find out everything approximately this Sophia mained us, and that I need certain reviews approximately wherein my brother goes WAF does and who he talks to. That'll fee 3,000 every week. I do not care. Approximately that charge every week." Later, Isabella obtained Rodrigo's first file. She opened it expecting useful information and determined a personal file problem. Marcus Chen weekly notes. Monday situation sold coffee at 3 specific places. Feasible caffeine addiction. Tuesday issue stood in the front of a garb keep for 20 minutes. Possible fashion identification disaster. Wednesday difficulty talk to a lamp put up. Feasible schizophrenia authenticity concern visible. Entering a residence with a female suspicious activity confirmed. Friday concern offered vegetation very suspicious. Rich guys do not buy flora and concern has simply misplaced his mind. Isabella known as Rodrigo without delay. "What's this rubbish?" "My professional investigation, ma'am. You wrote that my brother talked to a lamppost. I saw it with my personal eyes. He stopped, talked to the post for 5 minutes, then walked away. He turned into at the cell phone. You idiot." "Oh." Rodrigo paused. "That makes greater experience." Isabella hung up the telephone. Preparetto throw it towards the wall. Some days later, Sophia changed into on the mining website looking to understand why she'd been feeling unusual for the beyond few days. First, it turned into slight dizziness at paintings, then morning nausea she blamed on something she ate. However, when she started feeling sick from the smell of coffee, her favorite drink, Grandma Maria requested the query. "Sophia, we're keeping off. Sophia, when was your ultimate, you know?" Sophia iced up and looked at her grandmother, her face going faded. "Grandma, you're no longer wondering, I'm wondering you and that Mike have been spending a whole lot of time together lately." Sophia did the maths in her head. They'd been relationship for a month, and oh my god, you better make sure expensive. That afternoon Sophia changed into at the pharmacy keeping a pregnancy check with trembling palms. "It is just a test," she whispered to herself. "It might be bad." Deep down she already knew the solution. She knew her personal body too nicely now not to apprehend the signs and symptoms. At the same time as ready in line at the drugstore, Sophia notion approximately Marcus about Mike. How would he react? They had handiest been courting for a month. It become manner too quickly for this kind of hassle, but on the identical time she couldn't help a small smile. If it turned into real, it might be a baby made with love, and that was already greater than many children ever were given. Sophia came home with being pregnant test hidden in her purse. A door it changed into something unlawful. Grandma Maria was inside the kitchen making tea, and from the manner she looked at her granddaughter, it was apparent she already knew in which Sophia had been, so she requested jetting immediately to the factor. "I have not taken it," but Sophia mumbled, tossing her purse at the couch. "And why now?" "Not due to the fact to the fact if it's fantastic, everything's going to trade, and if it's negative, I'll simply sense weird." Grandma Mary asked up, stirring the tea, and looked at Sophia with that face that said, "Do not deliver me nonsense. Sweetheart, no longer taking. Take a look. It may not alternate the fact if you're pregnant, you're pregnant. That little paper may not alternate anything. I realize, Grandma, but I simply want one extra day just to put together myself and Mike Dosh. Recognize you're suspicious." "No," Sophia stated a bit too quick. "I need to be earlier than saying something. Are you able to believe the panic if I informed him and it turned out to be a false alarm?" Grandma Mary nodded. However, the appearance in her eyes stated she concept. Sophia changed into simply scared. On the alternative side of city, Marcus was having his personal disaster on the office. For 4 weeks he'd been residing a lie, and every day it turned into getting more difficult to preserve the act up. "James, I want to tell her the truth." He stated for the 10th time that week. Marcus, with all due respect, you have been pronouncing that for 2 weeks and you still haven't completed it. It is simply it is complicated. The longer I wait, the more severe it receives. How am I purported to explain that I've been lying approximately who I'm for 2 months? Perhaps begin with Sophia. There may be something essential I want to inform you. Marcus winced. It is not that easy. Am I able to ask you something, sir? Are you frightened of closing? I'm terrified. Marcus admitted. She's the first person who loves me for whoa. I am now not for what if she finds out I am a billionaire and thinks the entirety become a lie? Wasn't it? Marcus become quiet for a second, maybe on the begin. However, now I can't consider my life without her. The smartphone rang, interrupting the conversation. It becomes Sophia. Mike, are you free for dinner tonight? I was thinking of cooking something special. Of path. What time? 7 o'clock. And Mike, I love you. I love you too. Marcus hung up smiling. However, his belly become in knots. Tonight turned into going to be the night time. He became going to inform her the whole thing. Sophia spent the complete afternoon cooking like she was making ready a remaining supper. She made Marcus' favorite dish, dessert, even sold wine, but did not serve it because simply the scent made her nauseous. Right at 7, Marcus arrived with vegetation and that smile that constantly melted her coronary heart. Wow, something smells fantastic, he said, kissing her. What are we celebrating? Not anything in reality. I simply desired to do something special for you. Sophia lied. In fact, she desired one ideal night before possibly turning the whole thing the wrong way up during dinner. Each of them have been clearly frightened. Marcus was searching for the braveness to confess, while Sophia changed into suffering with waves of nausea that saved coming and going. Sophia, there is something I need to tell you. Marcus, sooner or later, said. I also have something to tell you, she replied. On the equal time, they each laughed nervously. You move first. Marcus said. No, you go. Your sounds more severe. Marcus took a deep breath. Sophia, do you bear in mind while we met and I instructed you? I was Mike. Are you okay? Sophia interrupted, noticing he becomes sweating. I'm satisfactory. Why, you look kind off pale. Sophia stood to get a few water and all of a sudden the room started out to spin. The remaining moment she noticed changed into Marcus' terrified face before the entirety went darkish. Sophia, Marcus shouted, dropping to the ground to capture her. Sophia, awaken, please wake up. With shaking fingers he grabbed his cell phone and known as emergency offerings. I need an ambulance. My girlfriend passed out and he or she's now not waking up. 10 minutes that felt like 10 hours later, the ambulance arrived. Marcus climbed in along with her, holding her hand the whole experience. Is she going to be okay? He requested the paramedics. Each 30 seconds, sir, you need to stay calm. We're going to get to the clinic and find out what's going on. At the hospital, Marcus paced the waiting room like a caged lion. When the health practitioner in the end got here out, he nearly jumped on him. How is she? What occurred? Is she going to be okay? Calm down, sir. The medical doctor looked at his chart. Mr. Santos, Shuri's how's Sophia? She's doing properly. It became only a fainting spell, cause by properly congratulate you're going to be dad and mom. Marcus stood there in silence for a full 10 seconds. What do you suggest? Parents, your lady friend is pregnant, around 6 weeks along. Fainting is common, especially if she hasn't been eating nicely or is underneath stress. Pregnant, Marcus repeated, like he changed into listening to a new phrase for the first time. Can I see her? Of room 304. She's wide awake and expecting you. Marcus rushed up the steps, his heart pounding so rapid he conceived he might bypass out himself. When entered the room, Sophia changed into sitting up in bed, pale, however smiling nervously. Hello, she stated softly. Hi, he answered, looking slowly in the direction of her. How are you feeling? Pregnant, seemingly, she stated with a shaky laugh. Marvel. Marcus sat on the brink of the bed and took her hand. Sophia, are you disappointed? She asked, quick, due to the fact I would understand. In case you are, we've got only been together a month and disillusioned. Marcus cut her off. Sophia, I'm satisfied, but glad, sincerely, genuinely. I really like you. And now I'm going to like our toddler too. Sophia started out to cry and Marcus pulled her right into a hug, his coronary heart pounding with a combination of affection and fear. Mike, I used to be so scared to inform you. You by no means have to be scared to tell me something, Marcus stated, lightly stroking her hair. Ever. This have to have been the moment he advised her the truth. However, searching at Sophia pregnant and vulnerable in his hands, Marcus simply couldn't no longer now. Acrostown, Isabella turned into in Rodrigo's workplace, subsequently getting a few useful facts. He discovered something exciting about your brother, Rodrigo stated, laying out a few photographs. He is clearly courting the gold digger, and more than that, I found out he's the usage Of Fox documents, what do you suggest? The name Mike Santos would not exist. It is a completely mad-up identity. Isabella gave a chilly smile. Move on. There may be extra I were given get entry to his financial institution data during the last 2 months. He spent much less than $2,000 for a person who commonly drops that in a night time. That is very suspicious, so he surely is pretending to be negative. Exactly, and from the manner she peers at him in these snapshots, the gold digger has no concept who he genuinely is. Isabella stood up happy. Thank you, Rodrigo. You've performed your component. The following morning, Isabella changed into waiting in Marcus' workplace, whilst he walked in, nonetheless sporting rumpled garments from Theospidal. Isabella, what are you doing here? Awaiting my huge brother to explain why he is pretending to be person else. Marcus froze. I do not know what you are speaking approximately, Mike. Santos critically. Marcus, that's the nice fox name you could provide. You with a sabalado not lie to me. I understand the whole lot. The conceal the gold digger, the entire act. Marcus sank right into a chair. How did you discover that? Does not remember what topics is which you first all this nonsense approper. Now I am. Now, not going to. Yes, you're. Because in case you don't, I will tell her where you honestly are. You wouldn't try this. Isabella gave him a cold smile. Attempt me. You have got 48 hours. Talk it up together with her and are available. Lower back to truth or I'll inform her the entirety. Isabella, you do not apprehend. I really like her. You adore the concept of her. However, she's in love with a man who doesn't exist. That's now not real. Isn't always it? Then tell her who you truly are. Name her right. No and say you're a billionaire. Let's have a look at how lengthy this true love lasts. Marcus stayed silent due to the fact deep down, he knew Isabella had a point. Sophia had fallen for Mike Santos, not Marcus Chen. You have 48 hours. Marcus, pick the family commercial enterprise or a myth that's going to quit in the end. Isabella walked out, leaving Marcus alone with the toughest decision of his existence, and now there has been a child involved. Isabella did not waste any time. Inside 24 hours, she had set in motion the cruelest plan she'd ever made. Death use of media contacts and virtual enhancing experts. She created fake evidence that regarded completely actual pics of Marcuse's social activities have been edited to show a chic blonde woman at his side. Fox Filoni files showing in professional engagement between Marcus Chen and Victoria Hamilton, the daughter of an oil tycoon, even made up gossip articles about the wedding of the 12 months scheduled for 6 months from now. The entirety flawlessly edited, absolutely believable, totally Fox. By way of Wednesday morning, Lucy, Isabella's assistant, confirmed up on the mining web page, dressed as a journalist carrying a camera and a folder full of evidence. Sophia Mendes, she stated, walking up. I'm Julia Rodriguez from Social Dallas Mag. I need to speak with you approximately. Marcus Chen. Sophia, who changed into organizing some gadget, appeared burdened. I do not know any Marcus Chen. Of course you do, Lucy stated with a cold smile. You already know him as Mike Santos. Sophia's blood ran cold. I've a few facts you may need to recognize. Approximately the person you're courting. Isabella opened the folder and showed her the edited snapshots. Marcus and pricey tuxedos hugging a stunning girl, absolutely at excessive society events. This is your boyfriend, Marcus Chen, CEO of Chen Industries. Envision net well worth $8 billion. Sophia took the photographs with trembling fingers. This could be actual, and there may be greater, Lucy stated, displaying her fake documents. He has been engaged for 2 years. The wedding is ready for December. You're lying, Sophia stated, though her voice lacked conviction. Why might I look at the pics? It really is him, isn't always it? Sophia seemed again. It was Marcus, no doubt about it, but now not the Marcus Sheck knew. This changed into a man from a totally unique global residing of very extraordinary lifestyles. He informed me he was an unemployed creation worker. Seems like he lied. The query is, what else did he lie about? 2 hours later, Sophia stood at Marcus's door holding the photographs, her chest tight with a mixture of anger and heartbreak. Whilst he opened the door, smiling like he usually did while he saw her, she exploded. Who is Victoria Hamilton? Marcus' smile vanished right away. Sophia, I can provide an explanation for. She yelled, throwing the images in his face. You want to give an explanation for why you've been engaged to another female for 2 years? Marcus looked at the photos, pressure at Sophia. This isn't, is it? What isn't you? As it's absolutely you in those snap shots. It is. But you lied to me. Sophia Beckham crying now, the pain and anger spilling out. You made up your whole existence. An unemployed construction worker, Mika Santos. All lies. Sophia, please allow me. Provide an explanation for the one's pictures. Are not and I am pregnant, she shouted. I'm pregnant via a man who doesn't even exist. Marcus tried to step nearer. Sophia, please pay attention. No, she returned. Do not touch me. You're engaged to someone else. You have been hiding an entire lifestyles from mine, now not engaged. Those pics are fake. Fox, Sophia laughed. Bitterly of direction? You would say that? What else is fake? Your emotions for me too? Never. Marcus shouted lower back. My feelings are the handiest actual element in this complete mess. How am I alleged to agree with anything you say? You lied. Approximately everything. Sophia started out, walking in the direction of her truck, Marcus following her. Sophia, please let me give an explanation, for those snapshots were edited. I by no means know. Marcus. She stopped and looked at him. Tarzan. Her eyes are Mike or something your actual call is. I can't takini greater lies. My name is Marcus and I am the identical man you love you believe you studied. So Sophia gave an unhappy snort because the man I love in no way existed. It changed into awesome thing you made up. She were given inside the truck and Marcus knocked at the window. Sophia, please think about our toddler. Sophia lowered the window simply a bit. Our toddler will grow up knowing the reality, unlike his mother who was silly. Sufficiendo trust in fairy testimonies. She drove away, leaving Marcus status alone on the street, heartbroken. Isabella had watched everything from a distance, smiling with pleasure. Whilst Marcus lowered back home, she became waiting inside the dwelling. Room looks like you won't want the overall 48 hours, she said calmly. You did this. Marcus shouted. You planted the one's fake photographs. I simply speeded up the inevitable. She could have determined out ultimately. Isabella, you destroyed the handiest precise component I had in my existence. I saved our enterprise from the shame of getting a CEO married to an uneducated gold digger. Marcus looked at his sister with a leathered. She stepped again. Do you already know what you just did? He said, his voice dangerously calm. You just lost your brother. Marcus, do not be dramatic. I am resigning from the company, from the inheritance, from it all, and I'll spend the rest of my lifestyles trying to win. Return the lady I love. You cannot do this. I'm able to, and I'm able to. Marcus went upstairs, leaving Isabella by myself, slowly figuring out that her so-called victory may have valued some distance more than she ever imagined. Marcus did not sleep for 3 days after formally resigning from Chen Industries, sending Isabella right into a full panic. He packed his matters and went immediately to the mining network wherein Sophia lived. But whilst he arrived, it turned into clean. He wasn't welcome. You are. The jerkwo lied to our. Sophia said yo status in front of the entrance together with his hands crossed. Joel, I need to speak to her. I need to give an explanation for. Provide an explanation for what? Which your wealthy liar who played along with. Her heart. Marcus regarded around and noticed that other people had joined. They have been all evident at him with hostility. Please simply 5 minutes. You're now not welcome right here, said Carla the geologist. Sophia cried for 2 days immediately. Because of you, she advised you the whole lot. She stated the man she cherished didn't even exist, that it was all a lie, that she's pregnant with a ghost. Marcus felt like a knife had been driven through his chest. In which is she working even though she's pregnant and heartbroken? She's working, not like a few spoiled rich boys. She has duties. Marcus controlled to get around the group and determined Sophia in an extra far off region off the mining site, operating a sediment sifting machine, even from a distance. He ought to see she regarded thinner pale but operating with the identical determination as always. She changed into pregnant along with his babian, nonetheless operating hard beneath the burning sun. Marcus concealed at the back of some bushes and watched her for an hour each now and then. Sophia might prevent to relaxation, lightly setting her hand on her still small belly, then cross right back to work. Her expression was focused, just like he remembered. However, there was deep sadness in her eyes. Admiring your work? A chilly voice said at the back of him. Marcus became and saw Grandma Maria, hands crossed with a look sharp enough to kill. Mrs. Maria, I save it. You are a coward who performed with my granddaughter like she was a toy. It's not actual. I really like her. Love. Grandma Maria set free a sour giggle. You call that love? Lying approximately who you're making her fall for a fake guy. I didn't mean for it to show up this manner. Things were given out of control and also, you did not have the courage to tell the fact no longer, even if you determined out she turned into pregnant. Marcus regarded down ashamed. What is the saddest component Grandma Maria endured? She sincerely loved you. The Mike Santos you made Up, she cherished a man who was honest, difficult running, and respectful. That guy turned in to be no means real. I can be that man. I gave up the corporation, left my whole lifestyles behind for what to preserve, pretending to keep playing a element no. To sooner or later be myself. For the primary time, Grandma Maria studied him for an extended second. You want to prove you've got modified, that you're worthy of my granddaughter? Sure, whatever then. Inform the reality, admit your lies, and ask for forgiveness. Marcus swallowed tough. And if I try this, will you assist me? Show Sophia that I simply love her. If you try this, I'll trust. There might be a small threat you deserve to attempt. On Sunday morning, Marcus stood in the city rectangular. The outdoor marketplace became complete. The whole community accumulated. He noticed Sophia through the square promoting homemade crafts to earn some extra money. Marcus climbed up on a timber crate within the middle of the rectangular and shouted, "Excuse me, may I? All of us is interest?" The chatter stopped. Sophia looked at him, surprised and livid. "My call is Marcus Chen, now, not Mike Santos. I lied to all of you." Taken aback, murmurs unfold via the crowd. "I'm the CEO of $1,000 million enterprise. I pretended to be terrible to find actual love, and in the system I harmed the maximum incredible female I've ever met." Sophia didn't move, however, tears were running down her face. "I am a coward, a liar, and the worst part is whilst Sophia gave me the danger to tell the truth, I didn't have the braveness, even understanding she became pregnant with my infant." Now the crowd became completely silent. "I do not deserve her forgiveness. However, I want you all to recognize Sophia Mendes is the most honest, brave, and beneficent girl I have ever recognized, and I destroyed that with my lies." Marcus stepped down from the crowd, humiliated, but by hook or by crook later. Sophia stared at him for a long moment, then grew to become and walked away. But for the primary time in every week, she didn't run, she just walked. And for Marcus, that felt like a ray of wish. 3 days after Marcus' public confession, Sophia became working close to the unloading place whilst a truck changed into backing up to sell off gravel. The driving force, distracted via his smartphone, failed to see that Sophia turned in, crouched at the back of the truck, checking a bit of system. "Sophia, flow!" Joe shouted whilst he noticed the truck nevertheless backing up. Sophia peered up and saw the rear bumper simply toes away. For a 2D she iced over, the driver couldn't see her within the mirrors. Marcus, who had just hypnotized her and did not think twice, he ran instantly closer to Sophia and Dove, pushing her out of the way with pressure. They rolled together at the ground, Marcus instinctively defensive her. Along with his frame, the truck exceeded inside inches of where they have been simply seconds before. "Prevent the truck!" Several people shouted. The driver in the end slammed the brakes and jumped out, panicked. "My God, I didn't see her. I did not see all of us." Marcus got up fast, checking Sophia. "Are you harmed?" Sophia was in surprise, respiration heavily. "I do not assume so." "Marcus, you is the baby okay?" He asked, assisting her sit up. "I think so," she said, setting her hand on her stomach. "You saved me." Marcus had scraped his arm and leg on the gravel, but he did not care. "Are you positive you're all right? Let's go to the health center simply to be safe." "No, want I, Sophia, please, for the infant?" She nodded, still shaken. "On the health center after the assessments, the physician confirmed that Sophia and the toddler had been best just a scare, no damage. You have been lucky," the doctor stated, "but it is a terrific idea to stay for statement some hours simply to make certain." When they were by myself inside the room, Sophia checked out Marcus, curious why he turned into there. "Why had been you on the mining website online? I was hoping for a chance to speak to you." "Marcus, I understand you asked me to depart, however I could not walk away knowing you're pregnant and maybe never see you again." Sophia sighed. "Marcusi need to invite you something, and I need the whole reality this time." "Something? Why did you in reality pretend to be negative and not provide me a few rehearsed answer? I want to recognize what turned into certainly going through your thoughts." Marcus sat in the chair next to the bed. "Because I felt like a ghost in my very own existence." "What do you suggest?" "Sophia, have you ever idea about what it is like to in no way recognize if people genuinely such as you in view that I was a kid? I saw hobby in human beings' eyes after they determined out my closing name pals who you said me to electrify their parents' girlfriends who changed absolutely once they notice my residence, and you concepted it'd be equal with me. I used to be afraid it might be because you had been are too ideal to be authentic. A lovely woman, smart with individual who cares approximately human beings' idea. If she reveals out I am a billionaire, she'll begin performing unique like all of the other." Sophia studied him. "And whilst did you recognize you had been incorrect the instant you offered your financial savings while you concept I'd come in problem? No woman in my life ever cared if I had sufficient cash for something you involved, if I should even pay for a coffee, and yet you saved lying because I panicked. How become I going to provide an explanation for 2 months of lies? How was I going to mention hello, Sophia, I am in reality a billionaire and pretended to be poor to test you? It sounded terrible even in my head. Sophia was quiet for a couple of minutes. Marcus, you made me fall in love with a person who doesn't exist. It truly is no longer real, he stated firmly. The person who danced with you, who attempted to assist on the mining website and was a catastrophe, who laughed at your testimonies, who loves you extra than existence itself. That man exists. It truly is me. However, you lied approximately the whole lot. Else elite about cash and my name. I did not lie. Approximately my emotions, every I really like. You turned into real, every glad moment with you Becca me actual. Sophia looked at him with teary eyes. How will I consider you again? How will he realize you're no longer lying about different things due to the fact any further? You will understand the whole lot about me, bank accounts, properties, circle of relatives, beyond everything, no secrets. And what if I decide I don't want to try again? Marcus felt his chest tighten. Then I will appreciate that. However, Sophia, our baby merits a father who is gift. Even if you do not need me as a husband, permit me be a dad. Sophia rested her head on the pillow, emotionally exhausted. I need time to manner all of this. How lots time do you want? I do not recognize it is able to be weeks, it could be months. Maybe I will in no way. Absolutely. For Javerkus nodded, seeking to cover his eight. I'll wait as long because it takes. And what if I decide I need you to live away? Then I will admire your preference. However, I'll continue alive here for you and our baby in case you ever change your mind. Sophia checked out him for a protracted second. Why did you chance a jetting harm to shop me nowadays after the entirety that passed off? Because I love you, Marcus stated truly, and because I would instead die then see something take place to you or our toddler. Even understanding I might never forgive you. Then again, my love for you does not depend upon you loving me again. Sophia closed her eyes, tears quickly falling. Marcus, I want you to leave now. I want to be by myself. To suppose Marcus student walked toward the door. Sophia, sure, thank you for giving me the threat to tell the reality, and I am sorry for the whole thing. I recognize, she whispered. I am sorry too for each of us. Marcus left the room with a broken coronary heart. However, understanding he had subsequently been absolutely sincere with the female he cherished. 2 weeks after the accident, Marcus made the most radical choice of his life. He met along with his lawyers and towards all advice signed papers that changed the whole thing. Mr. Shanair, are you sure about this? Asked Dr. Harrison, his legal professional for 15 years. Once you signal there, maybe no turning back. I am without a doubt certain, Marcus said, igniting the final page. I want 80% of my Fortunato visit a fund for underprivileged groups, focusing mainly on technical training and rural improvement, and the alternative 20% that stays in a separate account for Myson's upbringing. Sophia will manipulate it until he turns 18, and your sister She might not be given this quietly. Marcus, Isabella has already proven what she's capable of. I'm prepared for the results. The information exploded across Dallas commercial enterprise. Amina, a billionaire, gives up fortune. Marcus Chen donates billions to Cariticio, abandons own family empire. Isabella noticed the information inside the Chen Industries workplace and exploded with anger. He is absolutely misbid it, she shouted on the agency legal professionals. I have to stop him earlier than he destroys the whole lot our family built. Merchant, technically he has the criminal proper to do this. He's no longer mentally healthy. Isabel interrupted. File a lawsuit questioning his mental sanity. Nobody of their right mind donates billions to a minor. Dr. Peterson, the corporation's senior attorney, hesitated. Isabella, that is risky. If we lose, we might not lose. Collect proof. Erratic behavior, lies, pretending to be a person else for months. Any judge will see he wasn't in a situation to make financial selections. Sophia heard the news on the TV. She changed into in her grandmother Maria's kitchen, drinking tea while the neighborhood information started outspeak him about Marcus in a shocking selection. Businessman Marcus Chen announced nowadays he's donating maximum of his fortune to social tasks focused on training and rural development, the reporters stated as they confirmed photos of Marcus leaving the law workplace. Sophia nearly dropped her cup. Grandma, are you seeing this? Grandma Maria moved closer to the TV. That boy truly went loopy in love with you. Chen said the fund will particularly be used to build technical schools in terrible groups. Exactly the sort of mission his ex-girlfriend Sophia Mendes always dreamed of developing, the reporter continued. Sophia felt her chest tighten. Marcus turned into literally giving freely his fortune to make her goals come real. Assets close to the circle of relatives found out that Chen's sister Isabella is challenging the decision in court, claiming intellectual incompetence. He is going to lose the entirety. Sophia whispered. No, Grandma Maria said, accurate, like already misplaced. What mattered maximum to him now? He's seeking to do something profitable. The following days, the legal case became a media circus. Isabella supplied proof Of Marcus' erratic behaviors about his identity abandoning the employer irrational monetary selections. Marcus did not contest any of it. He confirmed up in court carrying easy garments without expensive attorneys protecting himself, Your Honor. He stated to the choose, I understand my actions can also seem irrational to people who price cash especially else. However, for the primary time in my existence, I am making choices primarily based on what's right now, not what's profitable. Merchant. The judge requested, are you conscious you're giving up billions of dollars? I am on. I might do it again. Money has never made me happy. I'm hoping it is able to deliver dignity and possibilities to individuals who truly deserve it. Sophia watched the whole thing on television crying. Grandma Maria sat beside her looking her granddaughter. He is doing this for you. You realize, the elder stated softly. He is destroying himself for me. Sophia responded, no, he's rebuilding himself. He's becoming the person you noticed in him from the start. But Grandma, what if I cannot forgive him? What if it's too past due? Grandma Maria grew to become to Sophia with that wise appearance. Simplest older people have child. In my 78 years I have learned one fact, Janoon. Love is rare, rarer than gold, more precious than diamonds. That boy is literally giving everything he has to show he loves you. However, he lied to me. Suri lied, and he's paying the rate. But examine him now. Grandma Maria pointed at television. He's risking the whole lot status as much as his family being humiliated in public. That's no longer the conduct of a liar. That is the behavior of a person in love looking to make things proper. Sophia touched her belly, in which the toddler turned into growing. What if he hurts our toddler like he harmed me? Toddler, all of us makes mistakes. Query is, did he analyze from his due to the fact from what I see that guy isn't always the identical who lied to you. He has modified. Sophia checked out the television where Marcus changed into leaving the courthouse below a bath of digital camera flashes and harsh questions. He seemed tired, however decided. What do you believe you studied? I should do, Grandma. I assume you ought to move. Talk to him. Not to forgive right away, however, to peer together with your personal eyes who he has turned out to be. That infant Moritz to understand his father, and you deserve an honest answer about whether you still love that man. Sophia sighed, knowing her grandmother become proper. What if it's too past due? What if gives up on me? Grandma Maria smiled. Expensive. Did you spot that man on television? He may not surrender on you, not despite the fact that he lives 100 years. The question isn't if he nonetheless loves you. The query is in case you Berthelis love him. Sophia closed her eyes, feeling the baby pass inside her. Deep down she already knew the solution. The query turned into if she had the braveness to admit it. Sophia drove to Marcus' house 3 instances earlier than in the end, having the braveness to ring the doorbell. She became 4 months pregnant, and her stomach turned into bedgening to reveal under the simple get dressed she wore. Marcus opened the door and for a second changed into silent, as though he couldn't consider. She turned into there. Sophia, he said softly, as though afraid she would possibly disappear. Hi Marcus, can I come in? We need to talk. Of course. He stepped. Reader Ned quick nervous. Want some water? Tea? Something to consume? I'm exceptional. Sophia stepped interior and regarded across the mansion that used to intimidate her now seemed just like an empty, bloodless residence. I watched the trial on TV. Oh, Marcus made a face that should have been awkward. Towich, definitely. It turned into brave. Sophia sat on the dwelling room couch. You gave up the entirety, no longer the entirety. I nevertheless have sufficient to stay readily. And I set aside money for our son Marcus. You failed to must do this no longer due to my failed to do it for you. He sat down inside the chair across from her, keeping a respectful distance. I did it for myself for the primary time in my life. I used my cash for something that truly subjects. Sophia studied him. He regarded special thinner with dark circles beneath his eyes, but there was something in his eyes she hadn't visible before. Maybe peace. How are you? She requested. Better than I thought. It is ordinary, however I feel loose without the weight of the organization expectancies. Money for the primary time. I'm able to simply be me. And woe are you without all that? Marcus smiled sadly. I'm nonetheless figuring that out, but I hope to be a person worth of buying her infant's father. Sophia touched her stomach without thinking. Marcus, I did not come right here to get returned together. I realize I am nevertheless harm. I am nonetheless scared to accept as true with again I recognize. However, Sophia hesitated. Oh, however, our son deserves to realize his father, and also you deserve a risk to be a father. Marcus's heart raced. What does that imply? At approach, we can try and be friends for the toddler. See how things cross. Friends. Marcus repeated as if checking out the phrase. It truly is all I'm able to offer. Proper now, then I take delivery of. He stated. Right now I receive anything you deliver me. They talked for 2 hours. Marcus shared his plans for the charity fund, how he desired To be concerned in the pregnancy, his fierce approximately being a dad. Sophia spoke approximately the being pregnant, how the network reacted to his donation, her own fears. While Sophia asked to leave, Marcus walked her to the door. Sophia, can I ask you something off course? Do you think sooner or later perhaps we may want to strive once more? Sophia looked at him for a long moment. I do not know, Marcus, truly I don't know it truly, as K friends are a begin it is, she agreed. In days that observed, Sophia couldn't prevent considering one thing that stricken her. Even though Marcus had lied approximately who he became, something about those photographs of the intended engagement didn't make experience. She knew Marcus nicely sufficiendo recognize he would not cover a 2-12 months engagement. The more she notion approximately it, the more suspicious she have become of Isabella. On Thursday, Sophia made an impulsive selection. She drove to the Ken Industries Constructing, determined to confront Isabella and call for answers. I want to speak with Isabella Chen, she instructed the receptionist. Do you have an appointment? No, however, it's about Marcus and it's urgent. The receptionist hesitated, then said 30th ground, final door at the right. Sophia took the elevator with her coronary heart pounding. While she reached the ground, she heard voices coming from Isabella's office. The door became barely open. Are you positive you destroyed all the proof? Isabella's voice. Yes, Mrs. Chanel. Emails had been deleted, receipts discarded. A person's voice answered. Sophia hid next to the door listening, and the unique pics Isabella asked, all of them are right here on this folder, no edits, much like you requested. If everybody compares those with the ones shown to the prospector, they'll see the difference proper. Away ideal, we are going to burn everything. There cannot be any evidence left that we forged the one's images. Sophia felt a kickback run down her spine. They were speak me approximately proof of lies, and the detective, the person asked Rodrigo, has already being paid to stay quiet, and the girl we hired to Fox to be Victoria Hamilton in the pics too. Do you watch? Marcus might discover something now, not if we ruin the whole thing these days. No proof manner, it's his word towards mine. Sophia heard footsteps coming in the direction of the door. She speedy hid behind a column in the hallway. Isabella got here out with a man in a healthy wearing a brown folder. They headed to the elevators talking quietly. Sophia waited till they disappeared, then went in her Isabella's office. The room was messy with papers scattered over the desk. She speedy searched for something she could use as proof. That's whilst she saw it at the desk, a 2D brown folder, same to the only Isabella had taken. Interior had been photographs. Marcus on my own at social activities. No women beside him. At the edges of the snapshots, Sophia may want to see marks where other people have been digitally added. There have been also payment receipts for a picture editor printed. Emails among Isabella and a person named Victoria H. rating faker, even a contract with a detective Rodrigo for investigative offerings and creating Fox evidence. My God, Sophia whispered, flipping through the files. She cast everything. Sophia grabbed the complete folder and speedy left the workplace. Inside the elevator, her palms trembled, preserving the evidence of Isabella's lies. An hour later, Sophia became at Marcus' residence, spreading the documents at the living room desk. She cast everything, Sophia stated, displaying the original pics. The engagement, Victoria Hamilton, it was all made up to separate us. Marcus looked at the proof, a mix of anger and alleviation on his face. Marcus, this adjustments the whole thing. Isabella lied on cause to control me. Sophia, do you understand what this means? It manner I was idiot, Sophia stated, tears starting to fall. It means I assumed a lie and almost destroyed our chance at happiness. No, Marcus took her palms at approach. You're a sufferer of a cruel manipulation similar to me. What can we do now? We go to court. Docket. Isabella cannot get away with what she did. 2 days later, Sophia and Marcus had been in court presenting the evidence to the deceit. Isabella regarded fated, genuinely no longer awaiting her lies to be uncovered. Mrs. Chen, the judge addressed Isabella. How do you explain this proof of forgery and deliberate manipulation? I can explain, Isabella stammered. Whoever seeps to your call, buying virtual picture editing emails about growing fake profiles and an agreement for creating Fox evidence, all with your signature. Sophia stood up. Your Honor, may additionally I speak you may. Mrs. Mendes, Isabella Chen sent her secretary to touch me pretending to be a reporter. She showed me solid pics and Fox documents about an engagement that by no means came about. She destroyed my relationship based totally on calculated lies. And what impact did this have? Mrs. Mendes, I'm 4 months pregnant because of her lies. I nearly saved my son from knowing his father. I nearly destroyed a man who, in spite of his errors, constantly clearly cherished me. The choose bang the gavel. I ruled the intellectual incompetency case against Marcus Chen dismissed. Isabella Chen will answer For forgery, defamation, and fraud, Isabella left the court in custody, her plan in the end falling aside. Out of doors, Sophia and Marcus walked silently. Thanks, Marcus said, for locating the truth, for standing up for me. Sophia stopped and looked at him. Marcus, I nonetheless need time to technique the entirety, but now I know you by no means betrayed me. I know Isabella become the only at the back of all of it, and does that make a difference? Sophia touched her belly. It does. Our child merits parents who love each other, and I still love you. Marcus felt tears properly up. Sophia, however, let's take it sluggish, one step at a time, as many steps as you need. Marcus agreed. I've my entire existence to show I deserve your trust. Sophia smiled. Then let's start with a coffee. No lies this time, no lies. Marcus promised. In no way again. 3 months after the trial, Sophia changed into 8 months pregnant when Marcus made the request that could exchange the entirety for all time they had been on Sophia's porch looking the sunset. Marcus had become part of her routine, taking her to clinical appointments, assisting with the prospecting while she allowed it, and slowly in comes back her consider. Sophia, Marcus said, turning to her, I want to tell you something. What is it? She requested, gently touching her stomach. These previous couple of months were the quality of my lifestyles, now not due to the money I donated or the changes I made, but due to the fact I found out what absolutely matters. Marcus, allow men. He knelt down in the front of her, taking an easy ring out of his pocket. Sophia Mendes, will you marry me now? Not Marcus Chen, the billionaire, me, the man who loves you extra than existence itself. Sophia checked out the ring, a modest solitaire, quite without being flashy, then into his eyes full of hope and worry. Marcus, are you positive? After the whole thing, I'm positive. I need to spend the rest of my existence proving I deserve you. I want our infant to develop up in a family built on true love. Yes, Sophia stated, tears falling. Sure, in need to marry you. Marcus slipped the ring onto her finger with trembling fingers and kissed her like it become the first time. However, I have situations, Sophia said as they pulled aside. Something general, honesty for all time, no lies, no secrets. I promise a simple lifestyles, no showiness, I promise, and our baby will analyze the cost of easy things. I promise all of it. Marcus kissed her once more. I really like you, Sophia. The actual Marcus loves you. The wedding occurred 2 weeks later, a touching ceremony at the network. Sophia, 9 months pregnant, wore a simple get dress that showed her natural beauty. Marcus stood at the altar, anxious shower sparkling. Do you, Sophia, take Marcus Chen to be your husband, to love and admire him in sickness and in fitness, in wealth and in poverty? The pastor requested. Yes, I do, Sophia said, her eye shining. And also you, Marcus, do you are taking Sophia to be your spouse, promising to honor and shield her each day of your lifestyles? Yes, I do, Marcus said, his voice backed with emotion. I now pronounce you husband and wife. You could kiss the bride. The kiss turned into long and passionate teasing, not handiest their marriage, but the triumph of actual love over all lies and manipulation. 5 days after the wedding, Sophia went into labor within the middle of the night. Marcus, she shouted from the mattress. It's time. Marcus wakened in total panic. Now what do I do? Take a deep breath and get me to the clinic. On their way, Marcus drove like loopy, talking non-forstall to calm himself more than Sophia. It will be okay. It is going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Marcus, Sophia yelled via contraction, forestall speaking, and force on the hospital. After 8 hours of exertions, Miguel turned into ultimately born while the health practitioner positioned the baby in Sophia's fingers. Silence filled the room. Study him, Marcus, Sophia whispered, tears falling. Our son. Marcus touched Miguel's tiny face, absolutely beaten. He is best, virtually perfect. Hello, Miguel, Sophia murmured. I'm your mommy, and this crybaby here is your daddy, and I promise you, my son, Marcus stated, his voice breaking with emotion, I can continually inform you the truth. I'm able to usually defend you, and I'm able to usually love your mother more than whatever. Miguel opened his eyes for the first time and seemed directly at his father. Marcus broke down in tears. He looked at me, Sophia. Our son looked at me. He knows you are his dad. Sophia smiled. He knows he's cherished. 2 weeks later, whilst they had been at home adjusting to their new recurring, they were given an unexpected visit. Isabella confirmed up on the door, skinny and humble, very exclusive from the proud lady she have been months in the past. Can I are available in? She asked hesitantly. I recognize I don't deserve it. But Sophia checked out Marcus, who nodded. Isabella, Marcus said, what do I want? I came to make an apology from the heart and to fulfill my nephew. Isabella, you nearly destroyed our family. Sophia stated, however, without anger in her voice. I understand, and I'll carry that guilt for the relaxation of my life. Isabella stepped closer to the crib in which Miguel was slumbering. However, looking at him at each of you, I apprehend now what genuine love is. And what do you intend to do now? Marcus requested. Rebuild my existence from scratch. No lies, no manipulation. I've found out that cash without love is really worth nothing. Sophia stood up and to each person's surprise, hugged Isabella. I forgive you, she stated, not for what you did, however, due to the fact each person merits a second chance. Isabella cried in Sophia's palms. Thank you. I do not deserve it, however. Thank you. Miguel will want an aunt, Sophia said, stepping back. In case you're willing to be a better character. I am Isabella promised. I swear I am. 6 months later, on a Sunday afternoon, the own family turned and together on the porch. Sophia became nursing Miguel, whilst Marcus examined the information about the foundation's tasks he had started. The first technical college will open next week. He said it's going to assist greater than 200 households within the vicinity. Our dad could be proud. Sophia instructed Miguel. He's changing the world one mission at a time. Grandma, Maria arrived carrying a pie. How are my boys? Satisfied, Grandma? Sophia smiled. Completely happy, Isabella confirmed up, subsequent bringing a present for Miguel. Over the previous couple of months, she had become a regular and welcome presence in the circle of relatives. How's my favored nephew? She said, making faces at the toddler. He's your best nephew, Marcus laughed. Then he's virtually the fave, Isabella joked, watching his family beautiful and glad. Sophia healthy, developing Miguel, Isabella becoming a better man or woman. Grandma Maria smiling. Marcus remembered the time he pretended to be Mike Santos, desperate to locate true love. What are you considering? Sophia asked, noticing his remote appearance. I'm questioning. It became worth it, Marcus said. Every lie, every pain, every mistake changed into all really worth it to get right here. Even the bad elements, particularly the awful components, they taught me the price of what I've now. Sophia leaned in and kissed him lightly. I like you, Marcus Chen, the actual Marcusian. And I like you, Sophia Chen, he replied, forever. Miguel selected that moment to present his first little snort. As if he understood, he become part of the maximum beautiful love tale within the world and so forth. A easy pork of a easy domestic with a family that had almost been destroyed by using lies, but changed into rebuilt with reality. Marcus subsequently determined what he had usually been searching out: authentic love, genuine happiness, and the certainty that every now and then you need to lose the entirety to find out what truly subjects. What did you believe you studied off Marcus and Sophia's story? Depart your thoughts in the comments. Price this tale from 0 to 10. Join the channel and hit the bell to comply with all our tales, and do not omit more emotional tales.